My name is Jordan J. Cienega, and today is December 8th, 2025. And this is my debt portfolio. To begin with, uh, to supplement my advance directive, I will be granting or returning to Carol Cienega for now, as she is at least aware of my wishes, and I do not want to place any potential financial or emotional burdens on anyone else. I will be keeping this information in the fireproof safe which she has access to. I will be responding to this entirely through this video to keep things easy to access and for the sake of verification so that no one can claim that this has been falsified or written by someone else. As I die, want to be at home for as long as I can afford to have in-home hospice care. However, I consent to being moved to a dedicated hospice or assisted living facility if I need round the clock care to avoid placing undue stress on those who I am living with. If I do go to a non home facility, then I would want access to music and movies of my choosing, as these are how I currently spend time when I am bedridden from my illness, and I don't know how I would cope without them. I want my partner and close friends to visit me as often as they are physically, financially, and emotionally possible at this phase. I want my body to be donated for use in medical research, specifically research for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, degenerative disc disease, and the effects of spinal implants on a relatively young body. Beyond that, I don't really care what happens to my body. I'm not religious or spiritual, and I don't believe in any kind of sanctity of the flesh or anything like that. This will also help financially as donating is free. If my body is given back to my loved ones and they are trying to think of a way to dispose of my body, if you are trying to think of a way to dispose of my body, then alkaline hydrolysis is probably my recommendation, just for the sake of its positive ecological impacts compared to other forms of burial. For my finances and possessions, I have a will, as I don't currently have the assets to justify a living trust. Carol Cienega is the current executor of my will, and my assets do not outweigh my debt thanks to the US healthcare system and US education system. So no one will be getting anything currently. As for who cleans out my home, my folks or whoever or if I move with my partner, then my partner would do this, or whoever they hire to clean it out. I won't be offended if they want to hire someone else. I completely understand. And I will be too dead to be embarrassed by anything that they find. I have no dependents or pets, and I do not plan on ever having children, so I do not have to worry about that. I also don't have anything with any real sentimental value to me. My friends and partner are welcome to take anything of mine that has sentimental value to them. And I trust that I have built a friend group that will not allow this to tear them apart. For my virtual footprint, I am not active enough on social media to care, or anywhere else online to care about my virtual footprint for most purposes. I don't post on social media, so I don't need to worry about that. I only use Twitter and Reddit to browse, maybe some retweets, but that's the extent of it. Uh, there is no password on my PC. My partner, Rachel, is welcome to take it if she wants, as are any of my other friends. But I wouldn't be offended if they threw it away, seeing as how I have the worst PC out of anyone in my friend group. It's hard to be offended again if I'm dead. The only demand that I have on this topic of my virtual footprint is that absolutely nothing that I have ever produced, physical copy, digital copy, videos, text, anything, will be used to fuel generative AI in any form ever. I am firmly anti-Gen AI, and I feel that using it to represent the dead is vile. I want my words to always be attached to the context in which I wrote or spoke them. This is especially important to me. You can see I have here tattooed on my arms the words of activist Bob Rasky from the 90s, speaking after the death of Mark Fisher. His words are, "When the living can no longer speak, the dead may speak for them." For me, this and how it applies to this is that we have this fascination with not letting someone's words die with them in a way that allows their message to continue, their actual message. We try to pretend that their words are still alive. And in doing so, we bastardize them. We morph them into something that they usually aren't or weren't. And it's entirely this removal of context that removes the power from these words. So, moving on now to the more traditional social aspect, I don't want any kind of formal memorial, and I'm not leaving any messages behind. I try to communicate my feelings to people while we're both still alive. So there isn't anything they don't already know. My class is an employer, however, and find out when they find out. I'm not going to put that burden on anyone who is already potentially struggling emotionally. For my employer and for A&M or whichever school I end up going to for grad school, you'll probably find out when I don't show up for class or a payment doesn't go through. And sorry, I don't really care enough about the capitalist system or American educational system, especially with the current political climate, to put too much stock into that. And I'm not going to put that burden on anyone who is already potentially struggling emotionally. So I want my partner to move on as soon as she is comfortable doing so. I don't believe in soul, so I obviously don't believe in soulmates. Uh, Rachel, keep living your life. Uh, she already has other partners while I'm alive, so it would be a bit strange of me to say, well, now I'm dead, so you need to stop. It's, if anything, you are respecting me by continuing to live your life. For information dispersal, if I were to die today, yes, my loved ones would be able to quickly locate my important information and know how to handle my affairs. All of my documents, as I stated earlier, including this video, are in a fireproof safe that my family has access to. And I'll be putting, again, the script for the video in there. It now also has my written wishes for body disposal and instructions to contact a friend whose number they already have. All of my friends know each other. I don't have many friends, but we're all very close. So the information dispersal from that one friend will be seamless. This will also make order of information spread as painless as possible. As I know that, as Dr. Hernandez has discussed, that there can be issues with people feeling that they have been slighted by the order in which they were contacted. However, for me, this is the only friend of mine that my family knows. Uh, she's my ex, lived with me and lived with me for 6 years, lived with him for 2 or 3. They know her well. And her and her husband would be 2 of the 6 or so people that I would want to contact. So, and I also trust them to spread this information. So, Lindsay, please, you're seeing this for the first time, then hello again. And I assume you've already been contacted, and I trust that you have contacted everyone else. When I move, these documents will move with me into a new fireproof safe, which I will purchase. Currently, they're in a quite heavy duty safe here at home. But whenever I move, as I have in the past, I will be getting a much cheaper mobile fireproof safe. which, while not as effective against things like burglary, is still, again, fireproof. So that's all I need. How would I like my closest loved ones to be supported in their grief? Are there specific friends or communities that I hope they'll turn to? Guys, if you're watching this, guys and gals, you all know each other, and you're all my friends because I know that you're supportive. Just continue turning to each other for support. And if you need to see a counselor or a therapist or seek any other kind of professional help, spiritual help, whatever, it's your grieving process. Please do so. Uh, I'm not going to tell you how to grieve, as I believe that everyone grieves differently, and there is no right way to grieve. Reflecting now on my own life, uh, what do I consider my greatest accomplishment or proudest moment? It, I would have to say it's going back to college after becoming disabled. There was certainly a time where I was struggling to keep going soon after becoming disabled. It was difficult. I'm quite proud of myself for turning that into my purpose in grip studies. I do here, though, want to clarify that when I say this, I don't mean to imply that there is any sort of weakness in not finding the same purpose. Everyone deals with a diagnosis of any kind differently. And if you are currently watching this and are dealing with something on your own, then if you haven't risen above it, quote unquote, yet, then that's fine. And just believe that you will. And I hope that me doing this and talking to you and you being with close enough to me to see this will hopefully give you some kind of inspiration to keep going. As for my biggest regrets, I don't have any. Even the things that hurt at the time, if it wasn't for every single one of those moments, I would not be where I am or who I am now. So, again, for those of you watching this, my final message, I guess, is just know that I am satisfied with my life as I go now to greet death. Thank you, and I love you.